Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am kellyNeshell. A couple months ago I did a video called Things I Wish I Knew in My 20s. And in that video I mentioned that I would share with you guys books that I think everyone should be reading. Like if you want to become financially stable, if you want to be a better person, let me put it that way, then these are books that you should be reading. Before I get into that, I want to make a honorable mention of this book called Struggles and Consequences by Arlie Mackenzie. Now this book is a book that I've only recently started reading the book, but I can tell you this book is it takes you on so many different emotions. It deals with different aspects, things that we should look for, signs that we should look for as parents or as guardians in our kids, and things that people go through. We might not experience them personally, but people have gone through them and how they have been able to come out on the other side. And it just tells of us, it's just a beautiful book. As I said, I've not fully read the book, but I've started, and I think this book should get a honorable mention in this video. I will do a review on this. Now to get into my first book, the first book on my list today is The Richest Man in Babylon. This book was written in 1926 and it's a self-help book. It's a book that tells you how to build wealth, build finance using parables. And this, as I said, this book was written in 1926 and it's still being published. And I'd like to read a short excerpt from the book. And it says, "A man's wealth is not in the coins he carries in his purse. It is in the income he buildeth." If you are in the hunt to find out how to build your wealth, how to become a better financial aware, then this book is a great book for you to try. Next book I'd like to talk about is called The Secret. Now, if you've seen the movie on Netflix, it is the book to that, and it falls under the self-help genre, and it speaks a lot about the laws of attraction and things like that. I know a lot of people, they might feel some type of way about the laws of attractions and the things that it speaks on, but this is a book that I really like, and it's a good read, and I think everybody should try to read The Secret at least once, at least to know what it is about before you make your final decision on whether or not you like it. Because when I first saw my husband watching The Secret, I was like, what are you watching? What are you talking about? The laws of attraction and this and that and the third. But then as I got into watching the movie with an open mind, then I saw that, you know what, yeah, some of this is hidden. And so I decided to get the book, and I've read the book and I like it. The next book on my list is When to Jump. Now this book is another self-help book. There's a pattern here. A lot of the books that I read, they're self-help books, and this book is basically about people wanting to make decisions and how they went about doing so. Like if you're in a position, maybe let's take it back for a second, maybe you're in a job, right, and you want to leave that job. This book will tell you, it won't tell you when the right time is, but it'll tell you, it will help you understand, you know, things that go in place before you make that jump, you know, things that you might need to consider before you take that jump. Not saying that you shouldn't take that jump, but it puts you in the mind that, you know, yes, you're gonna make this jump, but there are certain things that you need to have in place, or certain things that you need to sacrifice before you make that jump. And so as I said, this book is a really good book to read. It's called When to Jump. The next book on my list is a popular one. I think it's a cult favorite, and it's the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. It's a part of a series. Now this book is also a self-help book, but this is a wonderful book, and I think this book is one of the most well-known books on my list. But I'm not going to delve into the book because I don't want to spoil everything about the book. But this book here in particular is the myth that you need to make a high amount of money to become rich. You know, it dispels all of that. And I just want to turn to this page here in the book where you see a flow chart, and it's it says why the rich get richer and the middle class struggle, right? And this here is a diagram of the income, and they're both similar, but on this side, this is the statement of a rich person, and if you could see, their income is bigger than their expenses, and they have more assets than liabilities. And the book goes into what assets are, what liabilities are, what your income is, and everything. And on the middle class page here diagram, you see, because on the page where you have the middle class, why the middle class struggle is because the income and the expenses, they're same, they're equal. Your income is just the same as your expenses. That's what the book breaks down and show you, and it shows that you have less assets and more liability. Just a spoiler, a lot of us in the middle class, we tend to think that a house or a car is a asset, when in actuality it's a liability if it's not bringing in money. So these are things that is explored in the book, and I think this is a great book. This book is one of the books that I think a lot of people, they know about this book, but if you don't, you should get your hands on a copy. Next book on my list is Negative Self-Talks and How to Change It. This book is phenomenal. It's easy to read. It's a small book, and it just tells you like things that you normally say to yourself and how to change that verbiage, how to change that dialect, how to speak positively to yourself. And yes, this book falls under the self-help genre. There's a pattern here. There is definitely a pattern. Most of my books, they're self-help books. I don't have nothing against reading books that like fantasy books and stuff like that. If that's what you like, that's what you like, but this is what I like. This is, I want to read books that edifies me, that I can learn from, like teaches me things that I don't know. I was never ever someone that loved to read, but I learned that in order to move forward, I had to read. I learned to read because it was necessary for me. My list is Leap, and this book deals with leaving a job with no plan B, what to do. The author discussed what she had to go through, what happened after leaving a job that she worked for years. She was in broadcasting and she just up and left the job, and without having a plan B. Hear her story, it was really enlightening, and yes, it can be done. Do I recommend it? No, not really. Always have a plan B, but it can be done. You can leave a job without any backup plan or any plan B and still come through. Yes, and this book falls under the genre of self-help and business. And my final book that I want to share with you guys is a book on social media and influencing, and this book here is the GOAT. It's called Influencer. Anything you want to know about social media, press kits and everything, this is the go-to book. So if you're trying to build a platform like I am, I think you should definitely invest in this book. And for all the books that I have shared, I will be leaving their information, their author's name in the description box, so please check that out. And please don't forget to leave a comment. And again, I just want to do another plug of this book called Struggles and Consequences. It's a must read. Leave a comment in the description box, and I'll also leave a link to purchase this book on Amazon in the description box as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope your day is as wonderful as you are.